211. Let's get to Transcendence, which came out in 2014. Directed by Wally Pfister. In his directorial debut, he's mainly a cinematographer who's worked for Christopher Nolan and done a lot of great films. Stars Johnny Depp, Rebecca Hall, Morgan Freeman, Cillian Murphy, Paul Bettany, Kate Mara. And the synopsis is: a scientist's drive for artificial intelligence takes on dangerous implications when his own consciousness is uploaded into one such program. So I saw this one in theaters, have seen it a few times since. It did not do very well. It flopped really hard. I think it had a budget of around 150 million and it only made, I think, around 100 or less. So pretty big financial flop. Reviews were mainly mixed to negative and was also one of Johnny Depp's last big movies. This is one that I wish it was a masterpiece. I always want to like it more than I do. I don't think it's nearly as bad as some people make it out to be. I still think it has way more interesting concepts and ideas than so many other blockbusters out there. And I'd rather have a film like this try and sometimes fail than just play it safe completely. It remains about the same each time I watch it, but there is still something about this one, even when I first saw it and didn't love it at all, that really stuck with me. And whenever I'm searching through lists of sci-fi films, of AI films, this is one that I always notice. I'm like, oh yeah, like I have forgotten about that one, and it had so much going on for it. So the overall concept is Johnny Depp's character is this renowned scientist, inventor kind of guy, Steve Jobs-esque, I guess you could say. And he is this front runner with AI progression and technology. And after giving this presentation at a school, a terrorist group who is anti-technology tries to kill him with this poison bullet, which you only find out till later that that's what's happened. In order to save him, his wife and friends upload his consciousness to this AI godlike system that he has invented so that way he can live on. And the rest of the narrative is mainly him becoming more and more self-aware, becoming more and more powerful, and then everyone else realizing, oh my god, like what else could he do? Because he's stealing money from financial systems, he's breaking into places in terms of getting information, like really is a god figure. What's so frustrating is, while I like Wally Pfister a lot as a cinematographer, and the movie looks amazing, for sure, I don't think that he was the right person to do this, nor was the writer, because while this is his story, he was a first-time writer, and so you're basically giving a standalone, non-IP blockbuster that has, again, $150 million investment or more to a first-time director and a first-time writer. Obviously, everyone needs to get their chance, their big break somehow, but this is pretty risky, and clearly it did not pay off, which, hey, that's how it goes sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like the pre-production, the development of this one could have been handled better to where it could have been an amazing movie. Because while I can get past some goofy, overreaching concepts of sci-fi and, futuristic stuff and all that sort of thing, one of the biggest problems is that there are large stretches of this that are flat out dull. Not where I'm wanting to stop watching it, but there are points where I'm just thinking, man, this is just really lagging. How the film is directed as well, it feels very uninvolving. I feel like I'm always at a distance with everyone. I mean, no characters are written super deeply, but even with that, I'm never really feeling intimately connected with anyone, whether it's Johnny Depp or Cillian Murphy or Kate Mara, and all the motivations are quite threadbare. As much as I like thinking about what they're saying and admiring the visuals, every time. Like, why isn't this more compelling? This should be so much more dramatic, so much more emotional, and it's just not. However, some good things. I really like the opening sequence of this film where Johnny Depp is giving the presentation on stage, and you're seeing this intercutting of these seemingly harmless, normal actions. Like, for example, someone bringing a birthday cake to a party, this team of lab office workers, doing their thing, and then suddenly it turns into a huge terrorist attack. And I think the poisoned cake is very creative. And while I like the idea and overall connection with this anti-technology terrorist group, the whole unplugged thing, like the guy has a tattoo that says unplug with a little cord running through it. It's a little too on the nose. Don't think we really needed that. And seems pretty stupid for someone in a terrorist group to have that. But I guess then again, there are plenty of people who do that. But I think just how obvious and kind of lazy that concept is kind of takes me out of it. The look and design of Johnny Depp's character when they start to put him in the system, when he has all the blue wires and patches on his head, and the posters market that in a way. I love the look of the posters, just saying. It does really rely, mostly for the worse, on the cast to elevate it, because like I was saying, with the weaker script and direction, if you didn't have the talents of Johnny Depp, Rebecca Hall, Cillian Murphy, Morgan Freeman, it would be a train wreck, because they carry that charisma, but even they can't save it totally. But what the script fails to really communicate, in my opinion, is while yes, there are people in the world trying to take things over through themselves or through one company, that's, for the most part, that's still not really how technology works. Technology spreads more and more over time to where we're just using it more and more in our daily life. And before you know it, technology runs our life. Whereas one day, years ago, it didn't. It's really that ripple effect, as opposed to it just being just Steve Jobs, just Bill Gates. It's really more so the little guys spreading it day in and day out, tweaking it. And that's why the third act really fails what has come before, in terms of not only becoming very goofy, way too blockbuster in nature without really warranting that style of storytelling. Because I got from the end of the film, the way to destroy technology, the way to destroy this threat is make sure we have all the right people in power who won't pass these laws or let these things slide and or blow it up. And boom, everything is saved. So I found that to be very much a cop-out, and shows that what if Christopher Nolan had done something like this, or a David Fincher? It could really be sharp, edgy, knife to the heart commentary, and instead it mainly falls down to a sci-fi blockbuster that most people will write off as being boring, and therefore all of the concepts and ideas are forgotten and completely ignored. The score is also very good. You get a good share of slow motion close-ups of water droplets falling from leaves. I don't know the exact. I know there might be some more commentary within that, but I think it's a little overused, that one image. Kate Mara has a interesting look in this, even though it's sort of gross. I think her weird, dirty, shaggled blonde hair is a somewhat memorable image. Overall, this is a film that I feel like I will continue to go back to every so often, and that's saying something, because there are so many sci-fi films or films in other genres that are one and done for me. Even ones that are 4 out of 5s, 5 out of 5s sometimes. And this one is an average film at best. And I encourage people to check it out and spend a little bit more time thinking about it if you have that chance or that energy to. So that is a heavy 3 out of 5.